Kindness to a Stranger, written by Pradeep Kumar Basu, published in the year 2009. The year was 1969. One afternoon, I was going up and down Delhi's Chowri Bazaar hardware market in the peak of summer. Needless to say, my skin was burning. I was so much drenched to perspiration that periodically I had to take off my spectacles and wipe them dry. I was a research scholar in the Department of Physics of Delhi University, and I was trying to purchase a 6-inch, that is 15 centimeters, brass tube required by me for setting up an experimental setup for my research work. That was the minimum length required, and I could not afford to buy a bigger length because the pittance UGC, means University Grants Commission, paid to its scholars in those days did not allow me to do so. The result was that I was trying every shop for 3 hours or so without any luck. No shopkeeper was willing to sell such a small length, which they would have to cut from a full pipe. And the bigger the shop, more rude was the shopkeeper's response. The only possibility was if, by chance, they had a piece of the required length in their shop. Being new to the city, I did not know anyone who could probably help. Obviously, I was feeling very much depressed. Still, I willed myself to enter the next shop, which incidentally was a big one. As I entered, I found a young man, presumably the owner, sitting in a small cubicle. I entered and somehow whispered my request. The young man looked up at me intently for some time and then asked me to sit. I was surprised. Since morning, my experience had been that most shopkeepers were giving me the get lost look as soon as their brains registered my request. Then he called a man and gave some instruction. Next moment, the man was back with a bottle of chilled Coke, which the young man asked me to take. I was nonplussed. As I tried to mumble a feeble protest, he said, "You look tired. You must have been roaming in the sun for a long time. Please take it." Of course, the coke tasted like nectar. Then he called a shop attendant and gave him my sample. When the man came back and shook his head, the owner said to him, "Then cut out this size from a full pipe length and bring." The man looked surprised, but within a few minutes was back with the required sample. I was astounded. I was a bit tense as I asked him how much I have to pay. He smiled and said, "Nothing. Please take it as my humble contribution for your research work." Over the years, I have forgotten the name of the shop, but that scene of the little cubicle with me holding a coke in hand is etched forever in my memory in eternal gratitude. Whenever I ruminate on this and similar incidents in my life, I feel India is progressing not because we have self-conceited, puffed-up leaders or bureaucrats or high-sounding intellectuals preaching to the masses lofty ideas which they themselves do not follow, but because spread all over this vast country are thousands of men and women who do not think twice in extending a helping hand to a stranger. Word power used in this passage. Pittance, a very small or inadequate amount of money. Probably, almost certainly. Depress, a state of unhappiness. Obviously, clearly. Incidentally, by the way, or by chance. Presumably, probably, or doubtlessly. Intently, with earnest attention. Get lost. Go away. Nectar, Amrit, or the drink of gods. Astound, shocked, greatly surprised. Humble, respectful, eternal, lasting forever. Gratitude, thankful. Ruminate, think deeply about something. Self-conceited means undue pride in one's self or in one's own performance. Puffed, too pleased about something you have achieved. Thank you for listening to the passage.